Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm talking about the TV show from Season 3, Episode 1, entitled Shatter. What a premiere. What a premiere. That was amazing. I mean, honestly, the first 75% was just like, okay, I'm with it. And then like those last few moments, and this is going to be spoilers, so you shouldn't be listening unless you watch the episode or you don't care to watch the episode and you just want to hear me talk about it. But spoilers. Those last few moments, I was screaming at the TV. My husband came out. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, don't watch, because he wasn't watching with me. And I said, I gave you an hour or two. And I'm like, I have to go ahead and watch. So I think he was watching football. So I was like, don't. I'm like, get out. You're gonna get spoiled. But I'm yelling at the TV. Stop! No, you stupid idiot. I don't know what was going on. I wish I was one of those people that like film themselves with like the live reaction, because you just don't get that moment again. But amazing. I cannot wait for next week. I'm excited to talk about it. So hopefully you guys all listened to the podcast. I covered season 1 and season 2. Season 1 I did late, so I did season 1 right when season 2 was coming out, and then did season 2 live, and then now I'm doing season 3 live, and I believe I already saw that it was renewed for season 4. So I don't know how many episodes or how many seasons they're going to do, but I think they can do a couple more. Like, yeah, we don't need to go on too long, but 4 to 5 seasons, I'm fine with. Even 6, if it's good. As we did it the last time, these podcasts are short, maybe 20, 30 minutes, we'll see. And I'm going to go with the small stories and then move to what I feel are the bigger storylines. So we get Jade. Feels like he's going crazy, and I don't think he is, but at the same time, one of the characters, I forgot who said it, but whoever got obsessed last time with the drawings, it must have been Victor, because whoever got obsessed with the drawings last time, I believe when Victor was a kid, someone else was obsessed with the drawings, and they pretty much went crazy. And we see that happening with Jade right now. Like last season, he was like, yo, I know I'm going crazy, but I'm not even going to allow it. And then this season, it's like, is he fully crazy or is he drunk? I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both, but hopefully he chills out. Obviously, he's onto something. I'm not saying that he's not onto something, but when Boyd went and got him from the bar and he was like, yo, we're going to take him back to the station. I'm like, you trust him to be in the station with you? Like, what if you fall asleep and he opens the door? I'm sorry, Jay needs to be tied up at Colony House or tied up wherever he is until, to me, he shows that he can be trusted. Because when we see him, he's throwing something like glass through the window. So like the building he's in is no longer secure because now the window's broken. But nothing came from him being there. Nothing negative came from him being there. What happened. So I won't go to the Jade is fully crazy yet. All right, then we get Elgin. You know, he's had the nightmares before. He was the one that got almost drowned in his nightmare. It's a character that sort of looks like a dying Fatima. At least that's what people were saying. And honestly, this episode, I was like, yeah, it kind of does look like if Fatima were to die, maybe that's what she would look like a zombified or mummified Fatima. But he's falling asleep with old lady Tilly there next to him, and he's like, he wakes up. It seems like he wakes up, which is, oh my gosh, nightmare on Elm Street, because you always think you're up, and then no, they're not really up, they're still asleep. So anywho, that's what happened in this case. He gets up, he's like, oh, I keep having this nightmare, and just something, it feels like someone's watching him. And when she's like, oh, like that person right there, this is kind of scary. And then sure enough, the fake Fatima, we'll call him evil Fatima for now. We'll call her evil Fatima. She comes up and like starts, I don't know, putting something on him, doing something to him. And that's when he truly wakes up. And Tilly is not next to him at this point. And I know it was last season because that's when Tilly joined. Everyone said, hey, she's suspicious. I don't know, but I feel like maybe they're trying to make us think that she's suspicious, but really she's just some lady that's there. But I don't know. Like, I'm not totally writing her off, but at the same time, I'm not on the, oh, she for sure is up to no good. Like, I just don't have enough evidence to say that yet. But who knows? Next week I might say the total opposite. I may switch it back and forth. But right now I'm just going to say I don't know. Let's keep a close eye on her. And then another small storyline was Fatima and Ellis. So Fatima is getting morning sickness, and Colony House, like, their residents do not give an F. They do not care. They're banging on the door. I'm like, is this the only bathroom? Like, why are you being so rude? You hear her throwing up in there. It's not like she's in there looking in the mirror fixing her hair. Like, you literally hear her throwing up. There's no other bathrooms. You can't tell me that big old house only has one bathroom. Go outside at that point. Go outside, not trying to be gross, but like, seriously, there's worse things that could happen right now than you peeing outside. And she's like, I almost peed on myself. Really? Why'd you waste your time at that door? You heard her throwing up. She finally leaves the bathroom. Fatima's throwing up. She's kind of concerned. People have already said theories last year, like Fatima's baby is like a monster baby and all that. And I kind of wrote off like, y'all are weird. I don't know why you guys think that. But given the history of TV shows and whenever they show a woman throwing up and something, like, I do feel like this pregnancy is not going to just go along without a hitch. Like, I feel like something may come of it. And it's so unfortunate because Fatima, like, she's been through a lot. I mean, they all been through a lot. But she says it's supposed to be impossible for her to have a baby. I don't know. I wish she would have went a little bit further into, like, exactly how impossible. Like, were your ovaries removed, or did the doctor just say, yeah, more than likely you won't be able to conceive a child? Like, exactly how impossible are we talking? You know? So, we'll see. But once again, old lady Tilly's there. I'm not being disrespectful when I say old lady Tilly, but old lady Tilly's there, and she goes, hey, the first couple months can be hard, but she'll be all right. And that's what she tells Ellis. And all I thought was, man, when I was pregnant, I swear, not the first couple months, every single month was horrible, okay? Like, some people have seamless pregnancies. It is just blissful and beautiful. Me, it was like every symptom that you can get while you're pregnant. It was like, boom, you're getting it. Boom, you're getting it. You're getting every single symptom. So that might just be what's going on with Fatima, She just may be getting, unfortunately, every single symptom that you get when you're pregnant. All right, so we're going to talk about Ethan a few times, but first I'm going to just talk about some of the small scenes here with Ethan before shit hits the fan. And that is Ethan and Mrs. Chen. He's fussing at her, like, she's all pulling on him. And all I thought, and his dad's like, what's going on? What's going on? Actually, I got the episode playing right now. And they have been looking for him. He's like, I got to go find mom. Ethan, like, why are you, first of all, why are you being disrespectful to your elders? I understand that, yeah, Miss Chen is not your parent or guardian, but she is a respected authority figure here. Like, show some respect. Like, she's housed you guys, and you're up here, and she's over here dragging your big ass, because Ethan got bigger, you know, dragging his big ass over here because she's trying to help protect him. And I don't know. And then even with Julie's like, yo, it's not your fault, Dad. I hate when people are not talking about what's going on. But clearly Ethan was trying to go look for his mom. His dad was like, yo, you got to stop this. Like, it's dangerous. You can't go off on your own. Do not do it again. Then we cut to another scene with Ethan. He's just everywhere. I don't know how the dad, Jim, let him out of his sights here. This might be after Jim had left. Because Ethan's now trying to stop Miranda from stealing this goat. I think it was Alma or something the goat's name was. They named the goat, which is the bad decision. If you plan on eating the goat eventually, you shouldn't name it. But Randall's trying to steal the goat because there's not enough food. You know, people already stole from Miss Chen and everything, the food like that. People are getting crazy. And that's when Victor pulls a gun on him. Boyd intervenes and was like, yo, the goat provides milk, these animals are a resource. And he says once again, as he did last season, this place will not break us. And clearly the monsters did not like Boyd encouraging these people that, yo, don't break. Y'all will be okay. We'll get through this. They did not like that. And we'll get to it later. But I don't know what Rando's plan was with this goat. Like, obviously he hasn't learned that many lessons. At the same time, something happened while he was asleep. Julie hasn't said what happened. Randall hasn't said what happened because he's like, yeah, you guys don't even know. Okay, well then tell us, Randall. Tell us what you saw in your dream. Don't tell us we don't know, and then don't tell us what happened. And obviously you still haven't learned a lesson. Not saying there's a lesson in everything, but you're still an asshole. You would think after something that serious and that you made it through, I don't know. I'd rather at least hear him tell people, hey, this is the end. And if it's the end, then why even bother stealing the goat? Like, if this is the end, you guys are about to die, then F it. Why steal the goat? Why don't you just share the goat? And if it's not the end, then don't be an asshole and try to steal the goat for yourself. Like, what were you going to do with the goat? So, anywho. So we get Jim and Kenny. They go off on this mission to go look for Tabitha. Boyd was very clear on, hey, look for the spiders. You cannot miss them. Even I'm like, I don't know, Boyd, those spiders came out of nowhere. They weren't there when you went to sleep, and then they were there when you woke up. So is that really a good indicator that that's the right way? Because those spiders were sort of supernatural. They just came out of nowhere. But one thing I did notice is that everyone's bundled up this episode, especially Jim and Kenny. They're extremely bundled up. So the weather's changing. It's getting colder. The crops are dying. I don't think it has anything to do related, but shit's not as good right now with the weather being cold. And I think earlier they said something about getting a blanket, and they're like, yeah, a blanket's gonna save us. But either way, Jim is like, they need their mom. Like, I can't help. Look at one son went off. He looked for his mom. My daughter's not talking to us. They need their mom. I'm like, Jim, they need a parent. Like, okay, I know maybe Tabitha was the primary parent before all this, but they need a parent, not necessarily their mom. You running off is very, very dumb. And yeah, he does realize it, but to me, he sort of realizes it too late, later on. But one thing that I noticed on second watch that Kenny says is, because he volunteers to go with him, and he's telling Boyd, I know what it's like to lose a parent here, and I'm not going to watch Ethan and Julie, or Julie and Ethan, lose both parents in the same week. And just hearing that the second time, I'm like, I mean, his dad died. It's been probably a few weeks now, maybe a few days. I don't know. Who knows how long this process has all been. I'm going to say it's probably been a couple months, but I don't know. I don't know how long it is from season 1 to this season right now. But it's safe to say it's been several days at the very least, but I would say potentially a few months. And just seeing Miss Chen, give him all of these supplies and like this care package, and she says she can't lose him also. I'm like, stop it. Like the first time I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, yeah, of course, everyone goes off on a mission, you always do your goodbyes and all that. But the second time, like really paying attention to what they were saying, I'm like, no, they're really trying to mess with our hearts here and pull at our heartstrings. So eventually they find some weird place. There's these weird statue things, and it's creepy. And Jen finally says, like, yeah, you were right. There was no spider webs, everything like that. But he's like, let's go ahead and make it inside. Let's at least make shelter inside. And eventually he does say, like, you know what, I should have never left my kids. Like, if I die out here, they will have no one. And sure enough, while they were there, we did hear it was not as scary as it could have been. I mean, it was still pretty intense, but something is outside their cabin, but it decides to not really do too much. Well, at least I don't know, because when we left the show, it was still night. Last time we left when it was night, like when Randall first night on the bus, we left, it was night, and we came back and it was cut to in the morning. Hopefully it's not cut to in the morning, because Boyd is still there. Miss Chen, everything's happening with her. I want to see exactly what they do with Boyd. So hopefully they won't just cut to. And that also means that Jim and Kenny are not completely out of the woods yet. Because who knows what could still happen if it's night. All right, let's get to Tabitha stuff. Tabitha, I'm not I hate Tabitha person. I don't think. Like a lot of people, I know a lot of people do not like the Matthews family. They don't like Julie, Ethan, Tabitha, or Jim. They don't like the whole family. You gotta be bad if people don't like the whole family, your whole family. But here, I don't know. I'm trying not to judge Tabitha, but I kind of am. Like, she wasn't really saying shit. She was wasting time. But at the same time, it's like, well, what would you do? I don't know. I feel like you have to have one person you can really trust. not go talk to some pastor or father that you never talked to. He's gonna think you're crazy. And yeah, she called her mom, but the mom was a little hysterical. I probably would have called like a best friend. Like, yo, I need you to get here to Camden, Maine right now. I still need help. It's not over. I can't tell you. We need to talk in person. And hopefully a friend would actually sit down and listen. Like, let me tell you everything that's happened, where we've been. What do? I mean, I don't know. It's so easier said when you're out on the outside looking in. But when she called her mom, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, now you just freaked the mom out even more, because now she probably thinks you're kidnapped, or who knows what thoughts in her head. But we get Tabitha. It starts off, she's leaving the hospital because the police are going to question her. I don't know. I mean, yeah, for the most part, yeah. Do you trust the police? Have they always been helpful historically? No. But so I get it. She leaves before they can question her, because what is she going to say? Yeah, they know that her whole family's lost. Now she's the only one that shows up. So I kind of get that part. You know, she's looking rough. They're going to assume that she killed her family or something crazy like that. But she does see the boy in white. He waves at her. And then when she finally gets to him, it's another kid. I don't know what that was about. He was trying to like bring her somewhere. But she borrows a phone to call her mom. I thought these girls were so funny, because one girl was like, nah, I'm gonna give you my phone. And then the other one gives it, and she's like, why would you do something so stupid like that? Yeah, there's too much information on your phone. You can't just be giving it to people. That's how you get scammed. If someone wants to borrow your phone, you dial the phone number, you put it on speaker, and they're not gonna have no privacy for a few minutes if they need a phone that bad, if you do not know them. And hell, I would say even if you know them. All right, but let's discuss Tabitha's confessional. She goes to the confessional, and she's saying something really bad happened. She runs out. The father runs out after her, which I was like, is that not breaking protocol? Like, aren't you supposed to have, I don't know, like privacy? I don't know. But either way, when he was like, well, what was his name? I'm like, oh, does the father have details? And she was like, Thomas. I'm like, what was the whole point of that scene? Like, was he friends with somebody that works on the firm? Because that scene to me was just, as of right now, I'm like, I don't get the purpose of that scene, unless it was for her to like open the lunchbox. But she could have did that at any time, open the lunchbox. I don't know. This scene was a little like, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but when he ran out, I was like, what was his name? Like, demanding to know his name. I'm like, oh shit, that father, like, is this Thomas now? I'm like, no, that don't make no sense. But I don't know. I thought something was gonna come from it. Only thing that came from it was Tabitha seeing the address for the lunchbox, which is in Maine. And since we know they all came from different parts of the U.S., I wonder if she ended up in Maine specifically because they're technically in Maine, or she ended up in Maine because that is where Victor's from. I do wonder what the reference is there, because they all came from different places. And even last season when Christy and Mariel met, she's like, you were only like 3 hours away. Like, so, and they were going to Grand Rapids. So I don't know. I do think it's important, the fact that she was in Camden, Maine. And I will say, they made it look nice. Like, I like that little historic downtown area. It was very nice, very, very chill, very walkable city. But Tabitha ends up at Victor's childhood home, and his dad comes home at that same time. And when he knows his lunchbox, she's like, oh my gosh, you're Victor's dad. And he's like, where'd you get that lunchbox from? Blah, blah, blah. So we'll see where that conversation leads to, hopefully on the next episode. And we get a little bit more background. All right, so now we get all the big stuff, all of Boyd's stuff pretty much. We start off with Boyd. He's claiming his gunshot wound from crazy guy, I forgot his name, from last season that shot him. And he has like all little buck shots. And I'm like, why didn't you get any help with this or anything like that? Father Kotri shows up. I'm like, look at Father Kotri. He's making sure, like, you guys want to kill me, you can kill me, but I'm still going to be on that show. I still expect a paycheck, okay? I feel him on that. But he discussed the weather being changed, people scared, and Boyd's like, yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep people calm. And he mentions, like, yo, what I saw the other night with my wife, that was not my wife. So what are you? Like, if that wasn't my wife, I don't trust that this is the Father Kotri I know talking to me either. And Father Khatri doesn't really answer him. He's like, yeah, who knows? Like, yeah, what you want me to be? Like, yeah, Father Khatri, we don't trust you. We still don't trust you. You look like Father Khatri. You sound like Father Khatri. But you're not him because Father Khatri died. We get a quick scene. The veggies at the colony house are rotten still. They're out of food pretty much. Boyd and Donna are fussing about like the food and everything like that and what to do. And Donna, she is kind of losing it. Like she sort of used to be a little more stronger. Like, okay, well, let's find this other thing. Like, okay, this didn't work out. Let's figure something else out. But here she's like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to tell people? Like, calm down. Like, doing all that doesn't make food all of a sudden appear. So get your shit together, Donna. Like, you're a leader. Unfortunately, when you are in a position of one that you're in, such as this, you can't let your emotions get out of control. You got to keep your shit in order. But Mrs. Chen is like, yo, how would we plant small crops in different places? Like, they can't all be rotten. Which, hey, no one else has better ideas, one. But two, I'm like, those crops that died at a colony house, to me, it was something that the monsters did. It wasn't just the soil all of a sudden became bad. So I don't know if them planting somewhere else changes things, or if they need to, I don't know, get a green, maybe do the barn and have no, I say, like, maybe they need to protect wherever they are growing crops at. Like, can they grow it inside the barn or somewhere like in greenhouse, and then put a talisman up there, and that way the monsters can't come in and interfere and mess with the soil. But I'm guessing they could still mess with it from the outside. That would still affect it. I don't know how all that works. So Mrs. Chen is like, her idea is the best idea that they have so far. And that's when Boyd starts talking like, yo, can we eat, maybe, slaughter one cow a month, see how long that lasts us? And she's like, Donna's like, yeah, if we're good, maybe a cow will last us a month, because it's going to take time for the crops to regrow. And then that's when he starts talking about the goats as well. And little Ethan comes by and like gets all mad. I'm like, man, we don't got time for this bullshit right now. Shit is real. We don't have time for a kid sad about a goat dying. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but shit is real right now. So I don't know. They're running after Ethan like because they run out. Not they. Boyd runs after Ethan, and Ethan was like, and Ethan understood. He's like, yo, can you kill Alma first? That way she doesn't have to watch her friends die. I'm like, damn, it's kind of deep for a little boy. And either way, I hope they weren't killing the animals in front of the other animals. Like, hopefully they just come and get an animal and you just never see them again. And you just have to wonder what happened. I don't know. That's kind of sick too. But so here we are. It's nighttime. We see the monsters. They're walking around chilling. They're letting the animals out of the barn. Boyd's dumbass goes outside to get the cows. Jade follows. Then Victor and Mrs. Chen. And we're like, okay, there's 4 people outside right now. 4 people outside at night. And Jade the whole time was like, yo, we shouldn't be out here. We shouldn't be out. Exactly, Jade. When you see someone do something stupid, don't follow along. That's like when your parents used to say, if so-and-so jumps off a bridge, would you do it? Your answer is always supposed to be no. Like, I can help a friend. You can help a friend all you can, but there's a certain point where your friend is you can't help them any longer. And to me, the moment you open the door and go outside, I cannot help you any longer. If you're inside and you're freaking out, I can help you. We can try to control that. But the moment you open that door, all bets are off. I don't care if you're Boyd. I don't care if you're little Ethan. I don't care who you are. But when Mrs. Chen and Victor come outside, Boyd says, hey, get the smaller animals inside. We're going to get the cows to the barn. Randall sees Julie and Ethan, because at this moment, Ethan sees Alma and goes, oh, Alma's out there. And as soon as he opens the door, the old lady monster that killed the little girl, I believe in episode 1, season 1, that was her at the window. I mean, she's already at the front door. Like, she just knew someone was gonna be stupid enough to open the door. And Julie tries to close it. She's like, no, Ethan, no. Tries to close it, but she was able to break in. She turns to her monster face. She is scary. She's walking him out of the house. Sarah comes in for a save. It will still not make me forgive Sarah. I don't give a fuck who she saved. She saved the whole town. I mean, maybe she saved the whole town and get out there. I can forgive Sarah, but as right now, nah, this ain't gonna be like, oh, Sarah's part of the community now. But who knows? I might feel differently next week. But so Randall finally does a good deed. He's honking his horn. Well, first of all, he was honking his horn anyways when he saw the monsters. Like to warn her, we're like, yo, they right behind you. And now Randall believes because he knows these people that are walking. He knows he ain't seen them out in the day before. He's never seen them before. And it's so funny, the lady monster that walks around with her purse. Like, why do you have that purse? What are you gonna do when it's time to actually kill? When you got the purse? But he honks his horn. He lets them in. He lets them in because at the same time their spot got blown up. And this is all happening at once. It's a crazy scene. I mean, I was just like mouth wide open, screaming, "Go, no, stop it, stupid!" And the monster comes up to Jade, and Jade, all he has in between him is the cow. And he was like, yo, like trying to like, kind of hop side to side, like trying to keep this cow as protector. And it's so ironic that it was like the quote unquote milkman that did it. And he just like was like, yo, this cow's protecting, man, fuck this cow. And he just slashes the cow with one little slash, like imagine just scratching someone, and that's pretty much him slashing a freaking cow. Jade freaks out, but Victor comes in for this save, and Victor don't even fuck with Jade, but Victor was like, yo, I'm gonna save him because we're a community. That's when Ethan and Julie get on the bus, and Mrs. Chen there, now she's like, I'm gonna help Boyd, and Boyd's like, nah, go inside. She's like, nah, we gonna do this together. I'm like, shit, you don't have to tell me. Actually, I would have never even been outside. I would have been watching from the window. Call a cow or call whatever you want. I would have never came outside. That's rule number 1. You don't go outside. You do not. But she helps them. They get it inside the barn, and like, I swear, I promise you, as soon as they close the door, I was like, what if there's somebody already inside? And sure enough, when they turn around, I mean, I'm just freaking out thinking about it. I'm freaking out right now just thinking about it. Because they turn around, they close the door, the monsters are there, a whole bunch of them. And I love that they keep the same monsters. Why do we have a consistency on monsters, yet the townspeople, it's different people every week? Like, who were these people when they were at Miss Chen's house asking for the food or demanding the food? All I thought was, who the hell are you guys? You extras are brand new. I've never seen you extras before. When they were at the barn and Ethan, confronted Randall for taking the goat, I'm like, who are these people? Yet somehow, when it comes to these monsters are consistent. Like, these monsters are, I guess they're not considered extras. They're like not original cast or full cast members, but they're like secondary. But I say in a show this tight, you guys need to go ahead and, I don't know, step it up, pay these extras. It needs to be the same people. And then it's like so many people. I'm like, how many people are here? We saw so many people die at Colony House. So how are there this many people still here? Either way, they go inside the barn. They close the doors. The monsters are already waiting for them inside. I literally could have threw up. I could have just, from fear, just close my eyes and just take the pain and just wish it for it to be over. Like, I wouldn't have been able to move. Boys like, just kill me, just kill me. I wouldn't have even been able to talk. That's how scared I would have been. And they get Mrs. Chen, and then when they pull that first hair, oh, you see the scalp. Oh, it was a lot. And I'm so glad that they did not show it. Like, we could hear her, and then we could hear we see Boyd and his reaction. And I will say something, I got this from somebody online, but they said, they're like, yo, Boyd watched just like when Donna watched her sister. When Donna, I think last season, in season 1, she talked about how she saw her sister get tortured to death. They tortured her right in front of her. And that's what happened here. And the guy says, yo, you said this place couldn't break you. Let's find out. So I think that's why the episode's called Shatter. And then just poor Kenny. His dad died terribly. His mom just died terribly. Kenny he's going to be a villain. I promise you, he's going to be a villain. I think we are going to see Black Spider-Man suit in Kenny this week. We are going to see, Killmonger Kenny this week. I don't think Kenny's going to be the same after this. Too much shit has happened. He's going to be hurt. Both his parents died gruesomely by these monsters. I don't know. He might blame Boyd. He might blame Sarah. He might just fuck around and do a whole lot of shit. I don't know what he's going to do, but I have a feeling Kenny will not be... It's Kenny that will be broken, I feel. I feel like Boyd... Not saying this didn't do anything to him. It definitely did. But I do feel like Boyd will be able to get through this because I don't want to say, you're in the military, you've just seen it all. But obviously he has seen some shit. So, I don't know. I just feel like this will affect him, but not as much as it will Kenny. So I think that's who's going to definitely change, who's definitely going to shatter. But I'm looking forward to next week. I love that you can watch the episode early in the day. So, like, you don't have to wait until 9 p.m., even though I know the cast did a watch party. But I was happy. I'm like, oh, we don't have to wait until 9 p.m. We can watch it in the daytime when you're not tired and sleepy and everything like that. So, yeah. I will be back still probably every Tuesday with the podcast. I would love to hear from you guys. You can hit me up on The Verdict's In on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or you can send an email to host@theverdictsin.com and I'll read your email, your message, wherever you send in. I'll read it on the podcast. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Gary probably will be joining me, but he's been busy, so he hasn't even watched. I've been trying, so I'm like, yo, you about to make me spoil it. It's Tuesday now. Like, I don't know how long I can keep it a secret. But, yeah, definitely reach out if you guys want to be part of the podcast. I'd love to hear from you and just get some other thoughts. I love seeing all the comments on Twitter this week. Good to see that the show is getting some love, so... All right, well, that is all. Oh, one quick little plug is Gary and I are podcasting on another show called American Sports Story. It's the FX show. It's about Aaron Hernandez, a football player who was accused of murder, and I believe he was found guilty and everything like that, and then, a lot of different stuff. So, anywho, if you want to be part of that, if you're like, oh, I remember the Aaron Hernandez story, or, I didn't get into it, I'm curious of what's going on with that. We are covering just the show. We might throw in a little bit here and there that we find online, but we are just covering pretty much the show. So look for that podcast on our Verdicts In feed. Just the Verdicts In, wherever you get your podcasts from. Probably it's also definitely on iTunes podcast. So that is all I got. Thank you for joining, and until next week, I'm Nicole. I'll talk to you later. Bye.